About 10 years ago, when I was around 19 years old, I had recently given my life back to the Lord after walking away from Him in my high school days. I had moved out of my parents' house and was living with some roommates. Throughout high school, I spent my weekends partying, chasing girls, and really got hung up in the wrong crowd. I knew God was real already though, as I had some very real encounters with Him when I was a child. Long story short, He got a hold of my heart, and about halfway through grade 12, I decided to give my life back to Him. I ditched my old friends completely, began to live in a way I knew was right, and pursued God the best that I knew how at the time. Over the next couple of years, I wanted so badly to live for the Lord, but to be honest, I was in a real struggle. The pull of the world felt so strong, and it was becoming too much to bear. I wanted to live for Jesus, but the desire for worldly pleasure felt like it was choking out my desire for God. I didn't know what to do. I remember I was driving with a friend of mine, and I even told him, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I'm starting to think maybe Christianity just isn't for me. Thankfully, God brought another friend later in that week, someone that I had really looked up to at the time. He told me he was once in a similar situation. So he did a fast where he didn't eat for 7 days, and he said God completely restored his desire for Jesus. I thought, I'm going to give this a try. It was my last-ditch effort at my relationship with God, and if it didn't work, I was just going to give up. I was off work for a bit, since I was a house framer and our company was really slow in the winter. So I decided while I was at home, I would do a 5-day food fast. I had never fasted before, so I didn't realize how difficult it would be, but I set out to do it and I was determined to finish it. I won't lie, it was one of the worst weeks of my life. I was unbelievably hungry. I had headaches, my sleep was terrible, and honestly, I felt as far from God as I ever had. I committed to seeking God for 1 hour every day, which might not seem like a lot, but for where I was at, it was all I felt I could give. The great thing about Jesus is that He never shames us for the time we don't give Him. He just honors the time that we do give Him, no matter how small or weak our offering is. After the week was over, I didn't know how to describe it, but something started to feel different. I ate and gained my strength back, and in the evening of the first day, after my fast was over, I started to really sense the presence of God around me. It was amazing. I found myself with a desire to go and be with Jesus. I went into my room that evening, shut my door, and put on some worship music. I knelt on my floor and began to worship. As I did this, something amazing happened. The presence of God filled my room, and as I worshiped, wave after wave after wave of the love of God washed over my being. It was so wonderful, it was almost too much to bear. God went from feeling so far away to being the most real thing in the universe to me. It's hard to explain, but everything else almost didn't even feel real compared to how real Jesus felt. This lasted for some time, and when it was over, I felt completely transformed. I went from wanting to walk away from Christianity to being completely on fire for Jesus. I couldn't even imagine the thought of walking away from Him after what I had experienced. You see, what fasting does is it kills our desire for the flesh and it strengthens our ability to walk in the Spirit. I had been walking in my flesh for so long, all I could see was the world around me. I loved Jesus, but I wasn't fully walking in the Spirit. Since then, fasting has become an integral part of my life, and I think it's important for every believer. I encourage you, if you're feeling weak, tired, run down, on the verge of giving up, the Lord may be calling you to a fast, a fresh consecration of yourself to Him. It can be one of the most powerful things that you can do for your walk with the Lord. God bless.